E.N.R.D to your teeth.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Today we're at the park. I just got done with a morning project with some work, and we came over to Garrison Park here in Austin. It's on the side if you know Austin parks, and we're gonna do a little video, a little Zen Koan breakdown. One of my favorites. Things to think about, things to talk about, things to share. We're gonna do a Zen parable, one that I really like, one of my favorites. It's called the Fishnet Allegory. I found this little table right here, and we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna jump right in. Boom. Hey, how's it going? I got a weird shadow on my face right here. I'm gonna try to roll. Wait. How about right there? How's that? Am I in there? Hey guys. Whew. Here we go. How are you feeling today? How's it going? I've been making a bunch of videos about all kinds of things. I've been hitting this channel pretty hard. Today we're doing a Zen Koan breakdown, and we're doing one of my favorites. It's called the Fishnet Allegory. It's pretty simple. Here we go. The Fishnet Allegory is basically like a koan, or a collection of words, like it's a couple stanzas. If that's how you, I don't know if that's how you use the word. It's basically a short collection of thoughts that is like any other Zen Koan. It's here to elicit an idea. It's here to gift you a momentary, brief epiphany. Let's just dive right in. Let's just do it. Let's just do the Fishnet Allegory, and then we'll break it down. Then we'll talk about it. Okay, here it goes. What is the purpose of a fishnet once you catch the fish? What is the purpose of a rabbit snare once you catch a rabbit? Now, okay, so here we're thinking about not tomorrow. We're not thinking about the linear progress of these concepts. We're thinking about moment of now. It's only in the moment of now that this exists, that these concepts exist. So, and the shadow is weird if I move back. I gotta keep leaning in. Okay, so we're basically looking at, look at this stick right here with weird animal fur on it. I'm getting distracted here. The Fishnet Allegory. Are you ready? What is the purpose of a fishnet once you have a fish? What is the purpose of a rabbit snare once you have a rabbit? What is the purpose of a word once you have delivered the idea? And then the last line of the stanza of the koan is, I'd like to meet the man who has no words and have a word with him. Oh, so good, so dang good. They do such a good job with these. Upon first inspection, it's pretty easy to look at what we're jumping at. We got the fishnet is used to catch a fish, the rabbit snare is used to snare a rabbit, and the words we use to share with each other are used to deliver an idea. So once the idea has been delivered, what's the use of the word? And in the last stanza, I'd like to meet the man who has no words and have a word with him. Meaning that having a conversation with someone who's holding on to words, holding on to ideas as if they're going to deliver them to you fresh for the first time is kind of a fallacy. It's suggesting that you and I would like to have a conversation with someone who has let go of their attachment and expectation to the words that they're going to share. The ideas that they're going to share are encapsulated fresh and new each time as they're shared. They're not reused. Words are not like a fishnet to be used again tomorrow. Once the idea has been delivered, the word can be forgotten. The word is useless once the idea has arrived at its recipient. So in a sense, language is only a boat to cross this vast ocean of space between us that we're trying to communicate to each other. We're trying to relate and understand. And here's where it's kind of interesting to think about what is being said here. What is this Zen Koan meaning? What is it reaching for when it says inside the concept of the fishnet allegory, that once you have a fishnet to catch a fish, you no longer need a fishnet. So once you have a rabbit snare to catch a rabbit, you no longer need the snare. And in a sense, once you have the idea that's been delivered with a word, you no longer need the word. And here, returning to the last stanza, we can review again. I'd like to meet the man who has no words and have a word with him. Meaning, in a sense, I'd like to meet the person who is not waiting to share a word from a past experience, but instead has no words to share, but is willing and open to share a word when an idea arrives, when an idea arises. Oh, so good, so good. Don't you ever have a conversation? Do you ever like see someone and you can tell like who are they talking to? Like they'll just start having a conversation with you and they're talking not to you, they're just talking to someone else. They're trying so hard to deliver ideas to you, but they're using words that they've taken from different circumstances, or they're using from different, conversations that they've had in the past, and they're trying to pull all these words together and force an idea on you instead of being in that moment, instead of being in the moment of now and waiting and kind of trying to decide like what is the idea that we're here sharing? What is the word that could encapsulate this idea? And I think that this is it's probably very abstract, and people might think like, what's the point of this? Like, I remember when I tried to tell this Zen Koan to someone, I was like, you guys ever heard of the Fishnet Allegory? It's great, let me tell you about it. I was like, there's a fishnet, and then there's a fish, you don't need the fishnet. And then, so I go into the whole spiel, and I arrive at the last stanza where I'm like, I'd like to meet the man who has no words and have a word with him, and I'm like, waiting for like the mic drop moment, and no one gets it, no one cares, no one's paying attention. I think that's funny. I think that's funny because, well, for so many reasons, there's layers of lessons to be taught in this Zen Koan. Often Zen masters, like a master practitioner of many things, I would consider them more like the master at the end of the Koan that has no words. They're not waiting, they're not holding on to words trying to like use the right eloquent word. They're not trying to hold on to the perfect fishnet so they can catch the perfect fish every day. They know that the paradox of the fishnet is only to catch a fish, and if you have metaphorically caught your fish, you don't need a fishnet. And so that's kind of where I am when I have conversations with people sometimes. They're not actually trying to have a conversation. They're just trying to talk at you. It's like, don't talk at me, bro. Listen, let's listen to each other. I'm all about listening. I don't know if you guys realize this, but you never learn from what you're talking about. Like, I already know what I'm gonna say. I don't know what you're gonna say. I always love listening to what people are gonna say, what they're gonna share, what their ideas are, what their opinions are. I feel really weird leaning across this table to get close to this camera, but this is how we're doing it today. I spit on the camera too. Okay, so reviewing the Fishnet Allegory, let's go through it one more time so you can tell it to your friends if you want. Have you guys ever heard of the Fishnet Allegory? It's great. This is kind of how it goes. What's the purpose of a fishnet once you have a fish? What's the purpose of a rabbit snare once you have the rabbit? Similarly, what's the point of a word once you already have the idea? I'd like to meet the man who has no words and have a word with him. Tell me what you guys think about that. Tell me what you guys think about that quote. Tell me what you think about this Zen Koan. What does that make you think about, of letting go of the contraption to capture something, letting go of the device to hold and capture words or rabbits or fish? What does that mean to you? And in reality, like what do you think when you hear that? When you hear like, what's the purpose of a fishnet once you have the fish? What does that make you think of? And what's the purpose of a word once you've delivered the idea? What does that make you think of? And then, I'd like to meet the man who has no words and have a word with him. What does that make you think of? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you think about this, and share it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Be like, this is great, thank you. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.